Good morning, Taste Buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and even though there are no songs titled In the Good Old Springtime, or Spring in the City, or even Walking in a Spring Wonderland, spring foods should be sung about. So I'm celebrating the harvest of SoFlo Spring and the good food that comes with it today on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Good morning, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, but I hope you knew that. Welcome to SoFlo Taste and welcome to the Goya Kitchen here at JA World in Coconut Creek. It's come around again. Tomorrow, spring is sprung. It's the first day of spring, a wonderful time of year, a rebirth for nature, people, and of course chefs. I thought it would be fun to cook with the harvest of spring today for fresh and flavorful tastes. So let's get cooking. Fava beans, you ever cook with them? I think you should. A lot of these guys didn't even know what a fava bean looked like until I opened it up. So this is what a fava bean is when it's in its whole state. Kind of looks like a lima bean once you clean it. Basically, all you do is open it up, the sides peel right off, and then you find this beautiful large bean still in a pod. Once you take it out of here, you can't eat this. You still have to get through the next pod to eat it. But the best way to cook it is in this beauty. For some reason, it just holds its shape, and to me, it's like a protector. So if this part is really ugly, that doesn't mean that this part is going to be really brown and ugly. And even if this part gets a little bit brown and not so pretty, it doesn't mean that the next part is going to be brown and not so pretty. What you do next, after you've taken those pods out of there, is you throw these into boiling water, which I have here. So let's do that. And it's kind of up to you how long you want to cook them. So I like to cook them a little bit under so that I can finish the cooking process with some kind of a good fat and other flavors so that they're not totally done cooking and then I can't really heat them again. So I love fava beans and pastas with lamb, silence of the lamb. I love them with all kinds of things. I even make crusts out of them. I'm going to teach you a very simple fava bean and corn ragu. It's basically stewing it all together very quickly, keeping it really fresh for springtime. So these have probably cooked, I think it's been about 60 seconds. So I think it's time to take them out and put them into ice water. So once they're in ice water, really let them have a little time to cool all the way through. But let's take them out of this little pod so I can show you the beauty, whoops, of a fava bean. And there you have it. That's what it looks like. Really easy to peel. If you want, you can break them in half just like so, or keep them whole. And they're delicious. And this is so good. So this, the one I have in my mouth is really tender, but it could heat for a little bit more, which is exactly what I wanted. They're beautiful and bright. If you overcook a fava bean, not as pretty as this. And you don't need a lot, by the way. I mean, this will serve, by the time I'm done with it, probably about 3 to 4 people. So not so bad. All right, so let's go ahead and just make this whole dish because it's really quick, like I said, and yummy. We're gonna start with some good extra virgin oil. I'm gonna add some thinly sliced shallots to the pan and just a little bit of minced garlic. Here I've got the cooked favas that have been cleaned out of the pod. I've got some corn just shucked. By the time this corn cooks, these favas will gently warm up. For flavoring, I've got some red crushed chili flake. I have mint, beautiful fresh mint. I also have some fresh oregano that I feel like I don't use enough, which I grow, by the way, like crazy. And then I have some fresh parsley, which will take some of those leaves out of there. Before that gets fully cooked, I'm going to go ahead and add the chili flake to it. Just a little bit. Some nice crunchy sea salt to already have it seasoned. Let's go ahead and chop these herbs just roughly. I love cooking like this because it's kind of off the cuff cooking and you can really interchange the ingredients with what you like. And it's a very quick cook. The only thing I did do ahead of time was I made a topper for all this because I love crunchy toppings. So I actually made a toasted breadcrumb. I just toast plain breadcrumbs in a little bit of olive oil and mixed it with some Parmesan. And that's going to top the dish. Everything is cooked. We're just starting to caramelize. I'm going to add the corn. Let that cook for about 45 seconds. We're going to add a little bit of lemon zest. Lemon and fava beans are so good together. It's the perfect match. So a little bit of zest and just a little bit of juice once I add the fava beans in. Add your fava beans to that. Let's add our oregano, parsley, and mint for just a last touch. And then finally, a little pinch more salt. Shut off the heat. The juice of a lemon. And we're done. Now this side dish would be beautiful with anything. You can toss some pasta in it. Finishing of a risotto, you name it. Okay, let's top this beauty with a little bit of this toasty breadcrumb and Parmesan, just like so. And we have a beautiful beginning to spring. Come right back. I've got some glorious, beautiful, beautiful stuff coming up. Please, hurry up.
Stick around. Things are just heating up in the Goya kitchen at JA World on SoFlo Taste.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste and our Ode to Spring. So excited to bring you this next recipe. I wanted to do fresh peas, some beautiful Easter egg radishes, some gorgeous arugula, Meyer lemons, which I don't feel like I use enough. If you haven't had a Meyer lemon, they're a little bit darker than your regular lemon, and they're a little sweeter with a very, very strong fragrance to them that you can only get from a Meyer lemon. It's just delicious. I also decided to use a beautiful piece of snapper, skinless and boneless this time, which is something I don't do too often, but for this recipe, I really wanted to show off all the vegetables. Besides this snapper that I'm using today, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market has dozens of species of fresh fish and seafood. Dolphin, grouper, salmon, they've got gorgeous stone crabs. You better get them before they're gone. Shrimp, scallops, clams, oysters, mussels, everything that's perfect for your Friday night Lent dinners. You can pick up your order in-store or curbside at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Go to DelawareChicken.com or call them at 954-983-6831. Place an order and tell them that Michelle Bernstein sent you. All right, let's jump right into this recipe. So the first thing I'm going to do is start sauteing the fish. I've decided to use ghee because I love it. Ghee is clarified butter. So as that heats up, let's go ahead and season the fish with some pepper, a little bit of salt, and go ahead right in the pan. The fillet was really big, so I decided to cut it in half, but it's absolutely beautiful. So what I decided was to actually braise the fish with the peas and the radishes. Have you ever had a cooked radish? They're absolutely delicious. I love them raw, but I also love them cooked. So I'm just cutting the radishes in any old way. All right, I think that's enough radish. Oh, and of course the herbs. There's so many beautiful herbs around right now. We've got some tarragon, which I think would go really beautifully with this. Some dill, as well as some chives, which will of course give us the onion flavor that I always look for in most of my recipes. So let's just pick the dill. Let's pick some tarragon leaves. Let's see how we're doing on the fish. I don't want to give it too much color, just a little. Let's see how we do. Beautiful. So let's flip that over. All right, we're gonna make a little bed for the fish with the arugula. So I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of really good extra virgin oil and just a little squeeze of a little piece of Meyer lemon and some sea salt into the arugula and let the fish sit on that. So this is about ready. What I'm going to do is just add a little bit of chicken stock to it. And we're going to make a little lemony broth for it. So let's go ahead and add the radishes. The peas have been blanched very quickly in some boiling water so that they're already cooked. But they were just cooked al dente, a little under. So let's go ahead and finish them in this cooking liquid. 1 piece of butter to bring it all together. And then let's go ahead and cut the chives and the rest of the herbs a little bit roughly. And spread them all the way, all around it. Great. I'm going to do a little bit of zest of the Meyer lemon. And the juice of another piece of Meyer lemon. And I think we're there. Wasn't that fast? You saw that? I mean, it's just so quick. That's the beauty of cooking with fresh ingredients. You don't have to do much. So let's put the fillet of snapper right on the arugula like so. We have our gently cooked radishes and peas right over the top. And then, of course, finish it off with just a touch of some Maldon salt. And if this doesn't say spring, I don't know what does. More of my ode to spring, so come right back.
I'm design expert Elena Capra. Michelle's food looks great. Stay tuned to see a home that looks great on SoFlo Home Project, coming up next.
SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We're here at JA World in Coconut Creek. For information about this wonderful place and what it does for our kids, so to jasouthflorida.org or call 954-979-7100. Now back to the food. All right. If this doesn't say spring, I don't know what says spring. This is a beautiful squash blossom. These are available. They are around. You have to go to certain farmers markets or all farmers markets right now to find them. And they're beautiful. You can cut them up and throw them into quesadillas. You can just use them to saute as they are as a side dish. You can eat them raw inside of salads. They're delicious. But my favorite way is to make them the Italian way and to fill them and to fry them. I think the first thing we should do is make the filling and then we'll make the batter. So here I've got ricotta cheese with salt and pepper, and I'm going to fold in some good old grated Parmesan cheese to it to give it even more flavor. Now, if you want to get fancy and throw in some chopped herbs to this, or maybe some cooked shallots or garlic, you can. But to me, there's just nothing more perfect than the delicate flavor of these two cheeses inside of the blossom. All right, this is a pastry bag, a disposable one, which is my favorite. We're just going to fill this with some of this filling. Now I've got some vegetable oil and it's heating up. We need it to be at about 350, 360 degrees. Nice and hot, but not too hot. We want the batter to cook before it burns. All right, so there's our filling. Let's go ahead and cut the tip. You don't have to put a metal tip of any kind. It's not like we're making decorations with this. It's really just used for filling. So I'm gonna keep it pretty small. I'm just gonna cut a little piece of the tip off. So all you do is you lay your flour flat, you take your piping bag, you open up the petals as delicately as you can, and you squeeze in filling. And then when you come to about 3/4 of the way up, you stop and you bring together the petals back together like so. I think I'll do about 5 of these. Now what's great about the batter, and I'm going to teach you to make a really good tempura batter, is that if you mess up, you put a little bit of the filling on the outside, you don't put it in there so tightly, it's okay. Tempura and any type of batter is really good for hiding mistakes. Okay, there we have it. So let's move on to the batter. In this bowl, I have all-purpose flour, cornstarch, and just a little bit of baking powder. We're going to add some vodka, which really helps hold the structure of the batter, as well as some sparkling water. Now I don't want to overmix, so I'm not going to use a whisk. I'm actually going to use some chopsticks, which I've always used for tempura, because it kind of stops you from overworking the dough or the batter. So I don't mind lumps. Lumps are actually good. It means that the batter has come together, but not overworked. And I'm just pushing down the flour using the chopstick. Okay, I've achieved a nice batter. I think I'm just going to add a little trickle more of seltzer. I don't want it to be too thick. No one likes too thick of a tempura batter. There we go, that's better. So you can really feel it out. You want it to be like a creamy soup, but not like cream of wheat. Does that make sense? All right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and dip and fry. So our temperature is about 350. I'm actually using the little zucchini to hold it. And I broke it, but that's okay. I'll use my chopstick to put it right into the oil. I'll be a little more delicate with this one. I actually prefer a thinner tempura, which I've achieved. And I didn't use a huge amount of oil for this. I'm going to flip it over and continue cooking. You could use a big, huge, deep pot of oil, but I've decided to do a little more of a shallow fry than a deep, deep fry. I just don't like wasting that much oil. So let's see how they're looking. Oh yeah, so I'm so excited to show you this. So if you want, you can use a spider to grab your squash blossoms out, but I actually love using the chopstick. I think it's a little more delicate. So I'm just going to flip them over delicately so that the whole blossom gets fried. But the crisp is just gorgeous. I'm very happy. So check out the blossom. Look how beautiful this is. You see the tempura? How nice and thin and crisp. So as soon as it comes out, you'll want to season it with a little bit of salt. But these are, I'm very, very happy. These are some of the best I've made. Okay, y'all have to come right back. I got to keep frying these, and I'll show you how we sauce them and how we serve them. So hurry up, don't go away too far. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste, and of course our spring show. I am jumping up and down with excitement because I have made beautiful, I'm so excited. Look at these gorgeous squash blossoms. The crisp is just perfect on this. They're filled with ricotta and Parmesan, and this is a little tomato sauce. That's how we can serve it, to dip it in there. They're really just so good on their own. I am thrilled So these are beautiful. I think I'm going to make them again for myself for my birthday in 2 days. Well, thank you so much for coming along with me today. It's the right time to cook with the harvest of spring. I hope my recipes today will give you a rebirth of the season and invigorate you too, along with your spring cleaning. You do some spring cooking too. Did you know that March is Women's History Month? Next week I'll be cooking in honor of some of those women who have made it easier for women, and for me in particular, in the cooking world. So be here for some wonderfully creative chefs who just happen to be women. So please come. And speaking of creative women, let's peek in on a design expert, Elena Capra. Good morning, Elena. What you got for us today on SoFlo Home Project?
Hi, Michelle. Good morning. So today we are shining a light on lighting for the exterior of your home. Coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we get expert advice that will have you enjoying your outdoor spaces after sundown.
Thanks, Elena. We'll be watching because I'm in the dark when it comes to outdoor lighting. So Taste Buds, thanks again for watching. I love our time together, so please be smart, be safe, and be vaccinated. And I'll see you next week. Now stay tuned for Elena Capra and SoFlo Home Project. Goodbye, and very, very good taste. Ode to Spring.